Hey everybody, it's been a while since I've done an ULTRON electric scooter video, and I haven't really had much reason to and haven't been doing much riding lately. But I had something that happened to me yesterday, and it's regarding this NJAX-T LED throttle assembly. And apparently this is something that is widely sold on AliExpress, and perhaps it's still widely used on some of the latest scooters that they still produce. I noticed on that website they sell the assembly with an umbilical cord that has what looks to be a 6-pin female receptacle. And to my knowledge, these manufactured throttle assemblies do not contain the umbilical connector. Now, I could be wrong because I haven't undone the sheathing that's connected to this throttle assembly, but I did not see any evidence of it doing an initial um, analysis. But what happened to me yesterday was I'm driving my scooter down the block, and all of a sudden the scooter starts going uh, up in speed. And I said, I didn't do that. What happened? Well, what happened was this little knob right here lost all its spring action. There is a coil spring that exists in this little carriage right here, and that somehow lost all its spring. Now, there's two reasons for that would happen. You don't even have to have much knowledge of this particular design, but intuitively you can probably figure it out. And that is either the spring broke or the standoff that controls the spring action managed to break loose. And in my case, it was the little plastic standoff broke off. Now, in order to get these replaced, it's a matter of time, it's a matter of expense, and sometimes we have neither of those. So I decided to try to fix this existing one, and I want to share with you guys today how I went about doing that. So I took this thing apart by removing these two screws here and here, and that gave me the ability to turn this thing upside down. And once I did that, I took this screw right here off, and you'll notice there's a new screw here. This is a 3mm stainless steel screw, and I tapped that into the plastic and was able to create a new standoff. I took a piece of brass and threaded it, and that reinforced it and gave it the extra girth that I think is going to really hold up. Not to say that these things really go under a lot of force, they really don't. But I think what tends to happen is that if you over throttle these things and if you pull too hard, the standoff could break. And having this throttle so close to my brake, probably over a couple of instances where I've actually thinking I was braking and I was actually throttling. And you push too hard on this thing, it's going to break the standoff. There's nothing that limits the throttle from over throttling. There's no limiter. They should have included some sort of plastic limiter in here to give it some extra strength so that you don't over throttle it. That over throttling could weaken the plastic. In my case, it did, and it snapped off. And I'm really happy with the result. And I think that if this has ever happened to anybody, don't throw this away. Don't go through the hassle of having to rewire your scooter. All you got to do is just shave off any remaining material. I used a Dremel to clean it up, and I was left with basically a nice little donut space, and I strategically drilled a small little hole in the middle of that space, and just tapped it and put a little brass standoff, and that standoff was cut clean with this. It's the same height as this cup, and I was very easily able to put the assembly back together, and it has really good spring action. I'm really happy with it. I think the only thing I might want to do is how I can possibly put some sort of limiter in here that would not weaken this, because this, it could happen again, and I don't want that to happen. So anyway, just want to share that with you guys, and hopefully this might be useful information for anybody who has a similar issue. Thank you for watching.